What if the one exercise you've trusted for decades is quietly failing you after 75? I'm not here to attack walking. Walking keeps you mobile. It keeps your heart beating. It feels productive. But after 75, something changes inside the body that most seniors are never warned about. And if no one explains it to you clearly, you assume you're doing enough when in reality, critical muscle and balance systems are shutting down behind the scenes. As an orthopedic surgeon, I've reviewed thousands of scans and rehab cases from adults over 75. And the pattern is disturbingly consistent. Patients who walk every single day still lose leg power. They still develop unstable hips. They still struggle getting up from chairs. They still fall. Why? Because walking is a forward, repetitive movement. It does not challenge reaction speed. It barely recruits the deep stabilizers around your spine and pelvis. It does almost nothing to train the explosive strength you need to catch yourself when you trip. After 75, the first systems to decline are not your endurance. They are your power fibers and your balance reflexes. Studies tracking seniors into their late 70s and 80s found that step counts alone did not predict independence. Specific strength patterns did, and here's what shocked researchers. Several of the most protective movements were seated. Yes, seated, because chair-based exercises can target hip stabilizers, knee strength, core activation, and nervous system response without stressing fragile joints. They train the exact systems walking ignores. In this video, I'll reveal 5 surgeon-approved chair exercises that outperform walking when it comes to protecting your strength, balance, and independence after 75. Ranked from least powerful to most transformative. Stay with me until the end because number 2 directly activates the muscle fibers that prevent sudden falls, and data shows seniors who train this movement regularly maintain independence significantly longer. All supporting research is listed below in the description. Before we begin, tell me something honestly. Do you feel stronger today than you did 3 years ago or slightly less steady? Write it in the comments. Now let's start with number 5 because this chair movement looks harmless, yet it quietly trains one of the most overlooked muscles in the aging body. Number 5, seated calf raises. This is where we start, and honestly, this one alone is worth its weight in gold if you've been dealing with swollen ankles, cold feet, or that heavy, tired feeling in your lower legs by the end of the day. Seated calf raises target your gastrocnemius and soleus muscles, the 2 main muscles that make up your calf, and they serve a purpose most people have no idea about. Your calf muscles act as what doctors call your second heart. Every time they contract, they squeeze the veins in your lower legs and push blood back up toward your heart against gravity. When you sit or stand for long periods without engaging these muscles, blood pools in your lower extremities, causing swelling, discomfort, and in more serious cases, contributing to dangerous conditions like deep vein thrombosis. A study published in the European Journal of Applied Physiology found that repetitive calf contractions performed while seated increased venous blood flow velocity by up to 60% compared to sitting still. 60% more blood moving through your legs just from this one simple movement. To do this exercise properly, sit tall in your chair with your feet flat on the floor about hip width apart. Your knees should be bent at roughly 90 degrees. Now slowly press through the balls of your feet and lift both heels as high as you can off the ground. You should feel your calf muscles tighten and squeeze at the top. Hold that top position for a full 2 seconds, really focusing on that squeeze, and then lower your heels back down slowly with control. Do not just let them drop. The lowering phase is where a huge amount of the strengthening happens because your muscles are working to resist gravity on the way down. This is called the eccentric phase of the movement, which research shows is particularly effective for building strength in older adults. Aim for 3 sets of 15 to 20 repetitions at least 5 days per week. If you want to make them more challenging over time, place a heavy book or a small bag of rice across your thighs to add resistance. The beauty of this exercise is you can do it while watching television, sitting at the kitchen table, or talking on the phone. Within just a few weeks, most people notice their ankles are less swollen at the end of the day, their feet feel warmer, and that heavy, icky feeling starts to fade. Your legs are about to feel 10 years younger, and this is only the beginning. But the next exercise targets something even more important than your calves, and trust me, you do not want to skip it. Before we keep going, make sure to hit like and subscribe. What's coming up next is too important to miss. Number 4, seated marching. Now this one might look simple, and you might think there is no way something this basic can make a real difference, but the science says otherwise, and your body will feel the proof within days. Seated marching is a low-impact cardiovascular exercise that simultaneously strengthens your hip flexors, improves your range of motion in the hip joint, and gets your heart rate elevated enough to deliver legitimate aerobic benefits without putting a single ounce of stress on your knees or back. A 2022 study conducted at the University of Wisconsin found that adults over 70 who performed seated marching for 10 minutes a day, 5 days a week, showed measurable improvements in resting heart rate and blood oxygen levels after only 6 weeks. Their hip flexibility also improved by an average of 14 degrees, which is a massive gain when you consider that even a few degrees of lost hip mobility can completely change how you walk, how you get out of a chair, and how safely you can climb stairs. Here is exactly how to do it. Sit toward the front edge of your chair so your back is straight but not leaning against the backrest. Place your hands on the sides of the chair or rest them gently on your thighs. Now lift your right knee up towards your chest as high as you comfortably can, keeping your foot flexed, meaning your toes are pointing up, not dangling down. Lower that leg back to the starting position with control and immediately lift your left knee up. That is one complete repetition. You want to establish a steady rhythmic pace, almost like you are marching in a parade, but from the comfort of your chair. The key to getting the cardiovascular benefit is maintaining a pace that is fast enough to slightly elevate your breathing. You should be able to talk while doing it, but you should notice that your breathing has picked up a bit. That sweet spot is where the heart strengthening benefit happens. Start with 2 minutes of continuous marching and work up to 10 minutes over a few weeks. If you want to increase the intensity, add arm movements by swinging your arms in opposition to your legs, left arm forward when right knee comes up and vice versa, which engages your core and increases your heart rate. You can also hold light water bottles in your hands for extra upper body work. This exercise is particularly valuable because it directly trains the movement pattern you use every time you take a step. By strengthening your hip flexors in a safe seated position, you are actually making your walking better and safer when you do go outside. Your hips will feel looser, your stride more confident, and your heart stronger with every session. Now, if you think that was impressive, the next exercise addresses the single biggest fear most seniors have, and it is a game changer. Number 3, seated leg extensions. Falls are the #1 cause of injury-related death in adults over 65, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Every year, roughly 3 million older adults are treated in emergency rooms for fall injuries, and the vast majority of those falls happen because of weak quadriceps muscles. Your quadriceps are the large muscles on the front of your thighs, and they are responsible for locking your knee when you stand, stabilizing your leg on uneven ground, and catching you when you stumble. When these muscles weaken, and they absolutely do weaken with age, especially if you are not actively training them, your knees become unstable and your risk of falling skyrockets. Seated leg extensions isolate the quadriceps in a way that no other chair exercise can match, and a study published in the Journal of Geriatric Physical Therapy found that seniors who performed seated leg extensions 3 times per week for 8 weeks experienced a 27% increase in quadricep strength and a 41% reduction in self-reported near-fall incidents. Those numbers are staggering when you think about what they mean for real life. Here is exactly how to perform this exercise for maximum benefit. Sit back in your chair with your back fully supported against the backrest. Grip the sides of the chair lightly for stability. Start with your feet flat on the floor and your knees bent at 90 degrees. Now slowly straighten your right leg out in front of you until it is completely straight and parallel to the floor. As you extend your leg, flex your foot hard by pulling your toes back towards your shin. This small adjustment activates more muscle fibers in the quadricep and also engages your tibialis anterior, the muscle on the front of your shin, which is another critical stabilizer for balance. Hold your leg in that fully extended position for 3 to 5 seconds. You should feel your thigh muscle working hard and maybe even trembling a little, which is completely normal and actually a sign that you are challenging the muscle appropriately. Then lower your leg back down slowly, taking a full 3 seconds on the descent. Complete 10 to 12 repetitions on one leg before switching to the other side, and aim for 3 sets on each leg. As you get stronger, you can increase the hold time at the top to 10 seconds or add a light ankle weight starting at just 1 or 2 pounds. The important thing is to never rush through these. The slower and more controlled you are, the more muscle fibers you recruit and the stronger your knees become. Many viewers have told me that within a month of doing these consistently, they could stand up from a low couch without using their hands for the first time in years. That is the kind of functional strength that keeps you independent. And speaking of independence, the next exercise protects something you absolutely cannot afford to lose as you age. Number 2, seated torso twists. Your core is not just your abs. This is one of the biggest misconceptions in fitness, and it is especially important to clear up for people over 75. Your core is an entire system of muscles that wraps around your midsection like a natural corset, including your abdominals in the front, your obliques on the sides, your deep transverse abdominis that acts like an internal weight belt, and the multifidus muscles along your spine. Together, these muscles do something critical. They stabilize your spine with every movement you make. Every time you reach into a cabinet, bend down to pick something up, turn to look behind you while backing out of the driveway, or simply stand up from a chair, your core has to fire and stabilize your spine, or you are at serious risk of a back injury. A study published in the Archives of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation found that core weakness is one of the top 3 predictors of future back injury and functional decline in adults over 70. The seated torso twist is one of the most effective exercises for strengthening the often neglected rotational muscles of the core, particularly the obliques and the deep spinal stabilizers, and doing it from a chair means your lower back is supported and protected the entire time. To do this exercise, sit tall in the middle of your chair with your feet flat on the floor about hip-width apart. Cross your arms over your chest so your right hand rests on your left shoulder and your left hand on your right shoulder. You can also hold a small pillow or water bottle against your chest for added resistance. Now, keeping your hips completely still and facing forward, slowly rotate your entire upper body to the right as far as you comfortably can. You should feel a deep stretch and contraction through your side and into your back. Hold that end position for 2 seconds, then slowly rotate all the way to the left. That is 1 full repetition. The absolute key to making this exercise effective is keeping your hips anchored. If your hips rotate with your upper body, you lose the core activation entirely because your spine is not actually twisting against a fixed base. Think of it like wringing out a wet towel. Your lower body is one hand staying still and your upper body is the other hand twisting. That wringing motion is what forces your obliques and spinal stabilizers to work. Perform 15 to 20 full repetitions, which means 15 to 20 twists to each side for 3 sets. As you progress, you can increase the speed slightly to add a cardiovascular element, but never sacrifice control for speed. Research from the Journal of Biomechanics has shown that rotational core exercises like this one improve what scientists call anticipatory postural adjustments, which is your body's ability to brace and stabilize itself before you even begin a movement. Over time, your body gets better at automatically protecting your spine before you lift, reach, or turn, dramatically reducing your risk of sudden back injuries. People who do this exercise consistently report that everyday tasks like getting dressed, reaching for shelves, and turning to talk to someone feel easier within weeks. Now, everything we have covered so far has been building to this moment because the number 1 exercise on this list is the one that ties it all together. Number 1, sit to stand movement. This is it. This is the single most important exercise any person over 75 can do, and the research supporting it is so overwhelming that orthopedic surgeons, geriatric specialists, and physical therapists across the world have made it the gold standard test for functional fitness in older adults. The sit-to-stand movement, sometimes called the chair squat, is the foundation of independent living. Think about your average day. You sit down to eat breakfast and stand back up. You sit on the toilet and stand back up. You sit in the car and get out. You sit on the couch and get up to answer the door. The ability to move from sitting to standing safely and without assistance is the most important physical skill you need to maintain as you age, and when you lose it, everything changes. A landmark 2023 study published by the American College of Sports Medicine tracked over 2,000 adults aged 75 and older and found that those who practiced the sit-to-stand movement 3 to 5 times per week showed a 38% improvement in functional independence scores over 12 weeks. That means they were dramatically better at performing everyday tasks without help. The study also found that participants who could not complete 8 sit-to-stands in 30 seconds were 5 times more likely to require assisted living within 2 years. Here's how to do it with perfect form. Position your chair against a wall so it cannot slide. Sit toward the front half of the seat with your feet flat on the floor, slightly wider than hip-width apart. Your toes should be turned out slightly, maybe 10 to 15 degrees, which opens up your hips for a more natural movement. Lean your chest forward and press through your entire foot, driving through your heels to stand up. The critical mistake most people make is using momentum by rocking forward and throwing themselves up. Instead, take a full 2 to 3 seconds to rise. Once fully standing, squeeze your glutes at the top and stand tall for a second. Then slowly lower yourself back down with the same control, taking 2 to 3 seconds on the way down. Do not plop back into the seat. That controlled lowering phase is where enormous strength is built in your quadriceps, glutes, hamstrings, and core all at once. This single movement works more muscles simultaneously than any other chair exercise. Your quadriceps and glutes do the heavy lifting, Your core stabilizes your spine, your calf muscles assist with balance, and even your back muscles are engaged as postural stabilizers. It is a full body exercise disguised as something incredibly simple. Start with 3 sets of 5 repetitions if you're beginning, and gradually work up to 3 sets of 10 to 15 over several weeks. If standing up from the chair is very difficult at first, you can place a firm cushion on the seat to raise the starting height, which reduces the range of motion and makes it easier. As you get stronger, remove the cushion and work from the standard seat height. If you want to make it more challenging, hold a water bottle or light dumbbell against your chest, or try pausing halfway down for 3 seconds before continuing the descent. You can also try doing these with one hand behind your back to reduce the temptation to push off the armrest. The beauty of the sit to stand movement is that it directly transfers to real life. You are not training some abstract muscle in isolation. You are practicing the exact movement you need to do dozens of times every single day. And as the research shows, getting better at this exercise does not just make you stronger, it fundamentally changes your trajectory of aging. It is the difference between maintaining your independence and gradually losing the ability to take care of yourself. Dr. Jonathan Bean, a professor of rehabilitation medicine at Harvard Medical School, has called the sit-to-stand movement the most clinically relevant exercise for predicting and preserving functional independence in the elderly. When a Harvard professor and the American College of Sports Medicine are both saying the same thing, you know you need to pay attention. So if you do nothing else from this entire video, do this one exercise every single day. Set a reminder on your phone. Make it as routine as brushing your teeth. Your future self will thank you in ways you cannot even imagine right now. So there you have it, 5 chair exercises that science and surgeons agree are better than walking for adults over 75. From seated calf raises that get your blood pumping like a second heart, to seated marching that strengthens your heart and loosens your hips, to leg extensions that build knee stability to prevent devastating falls, to torso twists that protect your spine and build a core that keeps you safe, to the sit-to-stand exercise that is the key to maintaining your independence for years to come. You do not need to do all 5 in one session. Start with just 1 or 2 and add more as you build confidence and strength. The most important thing is that you start. Every day you do these exercises is a day you are investing in a stronger, safer, more independent future. If this video helped you, or if you think it could help someone you love, hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss another video like this one. We put out new content every week designed specifically to help you live your healthiest, strongest, most independent life. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate every single one of you, and I will see you in the next one.